Hello, 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 everyone. Happy Tuesday. Joshua, how the hell is it Thanksgiving?
I have
Almost.
no idea, right?
I have no idea what's even going on. I have to go to the store tomorrow. I ordered all my food from Whole Foods like a proper human being. Well, most of my food. I have to get some of it somewhere else. But I'm getting ready. I'm going to make my turkey. And you want to see my turkey recipe? I'm
I
very
do,
excited
very
about
much
it.
so.
I have made this turkey recipe for the last 3 years, I think, and it's really good and it's really easy. And if you have never brined a turkey, which I know you have not because you barely use your kitchen, it's like the easiest turkey recipe in the world. It's all you have to do is get a giant pot and you put things like molasses and honey and soy sauce and a metric f ton of salt. And the salt is key to a brine because what it does, you put it all in a pot and then you stick the turkey in the pot and you let it sit in the pot overnight, and the salt on the outside of the turkey pushes the water and all of the other briny elements into the turkey, which makes it extra moist and makes the meat just a little bit salty and makes the leftovers extra good. So if people are looking for a recipe, this one is really, really good, and the turkey comes out looking very, very impressive. And I'm just gonna be honest, like I make the best turkey I've ever eaten. I don't need to deep fry it. I don't need to light myself on fire out on the deck or anything. I just stick it in a vat of salt for about 12 hours and then stick it in the oven, and I'm done.
I've never had your turkey, but I'm pretty much 100% sure that you probably make the best turkey in the history of turkeys. I'm just guessing. It might be my psychic ability. I just think that you do. I bet you really make a great turkey. One day, maybe I'll have some.
Maybe I will brine you a turkey next time I'm in Los Angeles. I'll come over to your apartment and cook it in your kitchen that you never use.
That would be a nightmare in my kitchen. I don't cook. So so I have like one pot for everything. You know what I mean? But other people cook for me, and I don't, you know how I don't like being upstaged. So I'm never going to cook because I know that I'm not good at it. You know what I mean? I just know that.
I hear you make a mean salad though.
I got to create, like, it's going to be an ebook and it's going to be free, but like all of these salads, because I have created some amazing salads. I'm very, very fortunate about that. Yeah. So I can do a mean salad, but I had to stop my salads because it's been quarantine. Since we were in quarantine, I decided to like start like cooking more, and I'm not terrible at it. I'm not as good as you, but I think I do pretty well. But I was realizing I was having these like 2,500 calorie salads, and I'm like, I can't do this. I can't do this. So yeah, we're back to our shaky shakes.
I was concerned for a second because I was like, did your governor ban salads as well? Is that like a COVID ban thing that happened, and that's why you stopped eating salads during quarantine? He's tried to ban everything else. He's banned Thanksgiving. He's banned indoor dining. What else? What else has he banned, Joshua?
Well, I have no gym. I have no gym. What else? I can't be outside without a mask. I can't go to dinner. Oh, I can't get a facial. Yeah, I can't get a facial.
Dude, I haven't had a facial in years.
Your skin is good, so you don't need one. But other people who have like combination skin, it's kind of important. It's in LA. It's like getting your teeth cleaned. It's like it's part of hygiene. So I called and like, sorry, but we can't do anything now. And I remember a few weeks ago we were able to do that, no problemo. So she's like, yeah, sorry, you have to. The rules have changed as such that you have to keep your mask on throughout the whole time of service. So like, for instance, if I wanted to, say I wanted to, have like a pimple popped over here or lance, I could do that because I can keep my mask on. But to have a facial, they'd have to, go around the mask. They're not doing facials.
And this is why California is a stupid, stupid state.
Hey, you know what? My weather, okay, I go outside and I can go outside and run every single morning without slipping and sliding, freezing my butt off. I live in the weather here is glorious and gorgeous. And it's picturesque. It's absolutely more beautiful than any place else I've ever lived. So there are pluses to Los Angeles, quite a few.
Well, as long as you don't mind not being able to do anything fun ever for the entire rest of the time that you live there, because God knows this is not going away anytime soon. your governor's an idiot. That's fine, Joshua. You
But
do you.
You know what? Honestly, maybe just because I have in my head like, oh, well, this guy I can leverage this to my greatest advantage. But there have been a lot of pluses in terms of the whole lockdown stuff. I mean, like, I'm getting fresh air every morning running. Before I was just going to the gym, running on the treadmill, which is just so stupid. Like this now with COVID, I'm running nearly every day. And, I get fresh air. I get to see the beautiful landscapes and see trees and more nature and fresh air and sunshine.
And the Freddy Krueger house.
And they're literally every single day I run by Genesee, down Genesee, and I see the Freddy Krueger house. And I just make sure it's still there. They were actually doing construction on the house next to it. I was like, whoever's doing that, if they were doing it to the Freddy Krueger house, I was like, that is the stupidest thing you could ever do. Because I'm buying that house one day. You see.
Well, you gotta invite me over when you buy it, obviously.
Are you kidding? We're gonna have the biggest parties ever. It's gonna be awesome. Yeah.
Well, you guys heard it here first. Joshua is committed to buying the Freddy Krueger house. And Joshua, guess what? Tracy likes you so much. She says you can come to Arizona and her daughter will do your facial for free.
Oh, wow. Okay. Thank you so much. That'll be really good. Probably know how bad my skin will be by that point, but thank you. I will take you up on that offer probably. Thank you.
All right, everyone. Well, welcome to Nothing Remotely Controversial. We got some business to get into tonight. I know you guys are very excited about some of the questions we're going to ask, but if you are new here, Nothing Remotely Controversial is a show that Joshua and I do every Tuesday night at 9:30. It is supposed to be a little bit of a fun, lighthearted show, a more interesting way to talk about the news where we really just don't take ourselves very seriously. And so basically, I talk about whatever news I find interesting. Joshua, who is a professional psychic and astrologer and tarot card reader, uses his psychic powers to help us peer beneath the surface and figure out what's really going on. And Joshua, I have to say, I have been hearing about how everyone agrees that you about stovetop being the best stuffing like all week long. So as it turns out, people do actually listen to the things that you say.
Hold on. So do they agree with me or do they think I'm white trash?
No, I think they agree with you. We have Artemisa and Miles in the chat. They both agree with you, I think.
It's so good. It's so good. I mean, it's crazy because people slave over it. I'm like, why can't you just buy it off the shelf? Like, save everybody at your dinner table and save yourself some time. I love it. It's so good. Well,
there's additional stuff you have to do with, guys, I promise we're going to get into business in a second here, but stuffing is important, okay? There's additional stuff that you can do to stovetop stuffing to make it even better, like putting like mise en place in and like putting a metric F ton of butter and putting like pork sausage and stuff like that, which is what I will be doing on Thursday. But all right, let's jump right into it. Guys, just so you know, we do take super chats. So if you have questions that you want Joshua to answer. Now, I do ask that if you're going to send in a super chat, please try to keep the question at a higher level, something that we're all interested in. Like one of the questions I'm going to ask Joshua, which is, what the F is up with Sidney Powell? We're not going to do that just yet. But if you have a question you want him to answer, we'll try to get through as many super chats as possible. But just high level stuff and that is of interest to everyone. And let's just jump right into it, because honestly, like one of the weirdest things that has happened this week is, so last Thursday there was this big, Josh was already rolling his eyes, this bodes well. Last week there was a big press conference in which Rudy Giuliani and Jenna Ellis and Sidney Powell all represented themselves as senior members of Trump's legal team, and they laid out their opening statement because they wanted to lay it out themselves instead of having the media cover it, because the media is a bunch of lying liars. So they did this big press conference. The press conference was a hit. And then like 3 days later, Jenna Ellis sends out a tweet saying Sidney Powell is not a part of Trump's legal team. Now, at the press conference, she had absolutely been presented as a part of the legal team and a senior member of the legal team. And then all of a sudden, she wasn't. And what I think happened, and what I mean, a lot of people are talking about, is Sidney Powell got like a little too crazy with her theory about the voting software changing 7 million votes from Biden to Trump, and there being connections with Venezuela, and it was this, and servers were seized in Germany, and there's like this whole big worldwide conspiracy that was overshadowing probably more more realistic parts of their cases. Now, we have a whole faction that is very pro Sidney Powell, and then we have people like me that are like, I think that we need to see some evidence of massive worldwide conspiracy before we embrace the fact that there was a worldwide conspiracy. So, I want to start up right at the top and say, and just how, can we do just a broad overview question of what is going on with Sidney Powell?
In reference to Trump's administration, yes?
In reference to Trump's legal battles. Is that better?
Yeah, will you phrase it all together?
What is going on with Sidney Powell in reference to Trump's legal battles?
And tell me when I should stop shuffling.
Stop. Maddie in the chat says you better not pull 5 of swords.
I know.
As does Shelby.
Cups, the devil, happiness.
Oh, thank God, no 5 of swords. Okay.
No. So somebody somebody is lying. Not in a. They're essentially, the Prince of Swords is rather crafty character. He's very much like sleight of hand, is not going to reveal everything. So with the Prince of Cups, there seems to be somebody who doesn't want them to know that she is on their team, but she is. So the Prince of Cups is deceitful or lying or, doesn't. It's a Scorpio card, and Scorpios think essentially that if it's none of your business, I can lie to you. Mm-hmm. That's their philosophy. With the Devil card, I do think that there's restrictions. So I think that for whatever reason, there's something politically going on there in which they can't let her be known as somebody who is a representative. However, with the Happiness card, they're extremely happy with her on board, is my feeling. Okay. So I do think that she is, but for whatever reason, it's this covert operation.
Well, that was kind of one of the thoughts I had when I saw that tweet, because they didn't say they were severing ties with her. They were just like, she's not a member of our team, which was weird. But one of the things that really bothers me about this whole scenario is what?
I wonder if it's for her own protection or something. Maybe they're trying to do that to protect her.
Maybe.
Sorry, go ahead.
No. I mean, I think one of the things that frustrates me about this whole scenario is that they are just not communicating effectively with the public. I'm sorry. They're this is a part where they're absolutely failing at. And one of the things that makes me worry that this is just a conspiracy theory. And listen, guys, just so you know, no one would be happier than me if Sidney Powell delivered the goods. I would eat crow all day long if it meant Trump getting a second term. I don't care. I will admit I was wrong. I will do penance. I will do whatever. But one of the things that really makes me concerned that this is a massive conspiracy theory is that they're all speaking in code. It's the weirdest thing. They're not communicating clearly. Sidney Powell is speaking in code. Lynn Wood, who is another attorney, is speaking in code. And it's it feels like they're speaking to the audience that are more inclined to believe these conspiracy theories, which is, I mean, let's just be honest, is plentiful on the right. I'm not saying the left doesn't have conspiracy theories too, but the right has a lot of conspiracy theories. And that's who it feels like they're speaking to.
I see.
So can we maybe let's get a little bit more specific on the Sidney Powell question. What can we ask? Can we ask something like, does she have the goods?
The goods.
Does she have the evidence of her Venezuelan conspiracy theory?
Oh, I see. So does she have something that could be considered substantial by a logical human being?
Yes.
Okay. And will you phrase it all together for me, please?
Does Sidney Powell have something substantial that could be considered credible by a logical human being?
And it's about Venezuela or about anything?
About the voting machines.
Okay. And someone I should stop shuffling on that.
Stop.
Hermit, Sorrow, the Emperor. I would say that there's holes that can be placed in this. Do you know what I mean? I think with the Hermit card, I think that they're working hard to like delineate and find information. But with the Sorrow card, it's almost like, nope, but I got this. Do you know what I mean? Like it's almost like cracking the code and then being like, but no, look, this. So it's almost like there's an issue. So I do think that there certainly isn't, I don't think, irrefutable proof. And with the Emperor card, I think that again, it's gonna be determined by whoever looks at it. But they will be able to poke holes in this. It is not inconvertible. I think I was taught the word the other day. It's not inconvertible, no. Okay. Or irrefutable. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
Well, I mean, that's fine. Like that's honestly what I suspected anyway. So I'm not terribly disappointed. People in the chat probably think you're a dirty liar, but that's all right. It wouldn't be the first time. Sometimes I think you're a dirty liar too, so it's okay. But let me see. What other question can we ask about this issue? Because I guess, well, I mean, should we? Let's talk about other parts of Trump's legal defense, because right now they're doing a whole bunch of different cases in a whole bunch of different states. Apparently, they're about to file a whole bunch of new stuff. Maybe we can ask: Is there substantial evidence? Does Trump's legal team have substantial evidence of voter fraud? Is that a good question? Just more general.
I like it. Will you rephrase it again for me?
Does Trump's legal team have substantial evidence of voter fraud?
And tell me when I should stop shuffling on that.
Stop.
The Moon, Worry, Queen of Discs. So it's a stretch right now. I mean, it seems as if with the Moon card, there are like these like phases and confusion, right? The Moon is all about things that are just hidden and not revealed. The issue is with the Five of Discs, it's almost like trying to push a car uphill. Like it's not a slam dunk, and it's not something that's like, well, clearly here it is. Do you know what I mean? The Five of Discs is a worry card. It's really not fluid. With the Queen of Discs card, this is hopeful. So I think that there's something that could be construed later on as to be fraud, with the Queen of Discs here as your final outcome, but we're still not out of the woods. I don't think that they have everything together just yet. I think that with the Moon card, I think that it was like they saw something that was going on, but then it was like, oh, but then they have this to contend with. You know what I mean? And again, remember, this happened like really like right on the tails of the retrograde. But with the Queen of Discs, I think that there will be something that's able to be substantiated, but at a later date. It's almost like I want to say they're barking up the wrong tree right now. And what it is that they had thought was like 100% slam dunk gotcha, I think that has gone south.
That's not so good.
But the Queen of Discs, I think, is very hopeful. I think that like that's something that, you know, it could be construed as X, Y, B, or Z. But I think honestly, with the Moon card, there is deception here. So it's almost a matter of, I think in some respects, it was a matter of he probably would have found the fraud. But I think that, you know, with the Moon card, I think that, you know, either they were confused or they were trying to deceive at the get-go, and now they're sort of paying the price for that.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Can we look at so last week when I asked you if Trump was going to get inaugurated in January, you were very like it was an extremely inconclusive couple of readings, it seemed like. Like there was not a straight answer as to what was going to go on with Trump in January. Do you remember this?
I do. I know that things were a little bit off, and we'll look at the cards to see what's up, but it seems almost as if I mean, you let me know what you think, but don't fire for that. Do you feel it's dissipated, or you feel it's at full force as it has been since early November?
I mean, it's hard for me to say because here's the thing: it's like I'm really tired, and so like I don't necessarily know. I've been through a lot, Joshua,
You
and
have.
I just don't necessarily know if I'm feeling it because I'm just tired and I'm sick of this and I just want there to be an answer already, or if it's actually dissipated. Now, what I'm feeling, and I was talking with someone about this today, and he was kind of feeling the same way about it. Is it's like I feel like it's gotten so drawn out that I'm just like, I just don't even care anymore. But at the same time, I feel like there's still something there. I don't feel like it's ended. I don't feel like all hope is lost. Um I still feel like they have something and they're not either they're not communicating it or they haven't figured out what to do with it. They're gonna have to figure it out quick though because they've only got really a couple more weeks that they can fight this particular battle.
Right. But I know that Trump did do something today to assist Biden in the transition. Do you remember that?
Well, so here's what happened, and I actually am not reading that much into this as much as, and maybe this is something we can psychic too. I'm not reading that much into this, that as other people are. So what happened is Trump basically said that the transition process could go forward. Now, what was happening was there was a GSA administrator, and I don't remember her name, but this is just like a random like government employee, right? This is not anyone that anyone would know about, and this person would not sign the letter to start the transition process because she was doing her job. Like Joe Biden is not the president elect. Like in real life, he's not the president elect. And so she wouldn't sign the letter to start the transition process. But what started to happen is she started getting doxxed. She was getting threats. Like her family was being threatened. And Trump was tweeting about this last night. And so my read on the situation is like, Trump was like, fine, just go ahead, whatever, give him the briefing, let them do their thing. And we're still gonna fight in court. I don't think that it was a sign of them giving up as much as it was like, fine, whatever. Like it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. I could be wrong about that. That was just my first thought though.
Cool. Okay.
So maybe we can look at that. Like, can we psychic? Why did Trump start the transition process?
Yes. And just phrase it one more time, please.
Why did Trump start the transition process?
And I'm going to stop shuffling on that.
Stop.
Tower, Prince of Cups, wealth. I think that somebody or something, quite frankly, scared the bejesus out of him. You know what I mean? Like there's like an issue. I think that the Tower card is almost like it's a shock to the system. Like I think oftentimes this card is about big confrontations with authority. I don't know who would be his authority, but I think that there was like some kind of threat or something that was just sort of like, I need to do this. And with Prince of Cups, I think that it was almost a matter of I don't think that he had much of a choice in terms of with the wealth card as things stand right now. Determining who is president elect. I mean, so many people I think do believe that it is Biden, media, etc. So I felt that his hand was tied because, as you said, he hasn't delivered any proof whatsoever, right? I'm guessing that's the case.
Yeah.
So he had to go with orders, or I think that there could have been some big problems. I think that he was threatened, like, you need to do this or you'll get fined or you'll go to jail or something.
All right.
He did not do this willingly. He wasn't like, I'll throw him a bone or anything like that. No. This was like an oh crap moment.
Well, that doesn't sound too good. So let's look at the big question. Let's see. Will Trump? Well, how's the best way to phrase this, Joshua? I never know exactly. Who's going to get inaugurated as president in January?
How about how will Trump supporters feel about the inauguration on January, what is it, 21st?
Well, that would be like, I think it's January 20th. The inauguration is.
Yeah, can we say that? I think that'll be better because obviously if they're sore, then you know what I mean?
How will Trump supporters feel about the inauguration on January 20th?
And tell me when I should stop shuffling.
Stop.
Very well. Princess of Wands, Knight of Swords, Prince of Cups. Interesting. I don't know. It's weird.
Joshua.
I don't know if it's going to even happen. That's the thing.
This is kind of like what you were saying last week too. It was like it was so inconclusive. It didn't even feel like anything was going to happen.
Yeah. Maybe what did Trump supporters need to know about the inauguration on January 20th? Maybe phrasing it that way.
Okay. What do Trump supporters need to know about the inauguration on January 20th?
And tell me when I should stop shuffling on that.
Stop.
Queen of Wands, Strife, the Chariot. Okay. So, again, remember Queen of Wands? Mm-hmm. Oh, do you remember last episode? We were like, who's this Queen of Wands? And then in the comments, somebody was like, Nancy Pelosi's an Aries. I'm like, she comes up again, Queen of Wands. It's very interesting.
Is Nancy Pelosi going to get inaugurated as president?
Oh,
people in the chat are saying it's January 21st, not January 20th. So I was wrong. Maybe that screwed up the psychic reading. I don't know.
No, we see inauguration. So there is this this unfulfilled longing that Trump supporters are going to feel, because that was the question, right?
Mm-hmm.
About how they'll feel. But then you have the Chariot, which is about hard control. As things are looking right now, things are very much up in the air. But if I had to wager a guess, there will be this like frustration, but the war will not be over with the Chariot card. So it's almost like with the Queen of Wands, you know, there is this person, I think, that will be involved in some capacity, very Queen of Wands character. If it's not Pelosi, it's somebody along those lines. And with the Strife card, Trump supporters aren't going to be like, dancing in the streets. And with the Chariot, though, I do think that like the journey has just begun. It's almost like, think of it in terms of, you lose that basketball game, but then you're like, you know what? I'm going to get him. Next game, it's on. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you need that like frustration in order to bring forth your best and like start something new. So as things are looking right now, Carlin, I would be very surprised if either Trump or Biden were inaugurated on January 21st or 20th, whatever it is.
It's a pretty bold claim, Joshua.
I mean, as it looks right now, that's how things are. I feel like with the energy, because I think that right now what I get around Trump is him being like looking at this. Well, what about this? What about this? And I mean, he is adamant. And I think that he's very, very psychic. And I think he's right. I think he's adamant that fraud took place in this election. It's just a matter of trying to find out, what can be substantiated in court without also implicating himself, if that makes sense. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, yeah, it definitely does. Well, I guess we'll look forward to another psychic update probably on this next week, because God knows this isn't ending anytime soon.
I know. Yeah, I wish we had more clarity, but the Queen of Wands freaks me out. So that does mean that, like, if there was an issue in terms of Biden or Trump, would Nancy become president until March? Until like the Supreme?
I don't know. I mean, maybe. I don't know. I don't know exactly what the rule is here. If anyone in the chat knows what could go on, please let us know. I mean, there is definitely there is a process where if the courts or whoever, I guess, decides that the election was corrupted in some way, one of the things that can happen is it can actually go to the House of Representatives, where each state delegation gets a vote at that point. And if that happens, Trump is probably going to win, to be honest.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that could be it.
I mean, I feel like he is right now, I don't want to say grasping at straws, but it's like that energy of like I think he's given orders, to find something and fast. And on an energy level, when I see that or I feel that, it's like it's Trump that, like, Trump might get mad at reporters or whatever, but Trump is mad in what I'm seeing. Like, he is like worse than you've ever seen him before. Like, mad. Like, I'll freaking kill you if you don't find something. Do you know what I mean? I'll have you killed.
Well, I have to say, I like that Trump is focused, because
yeah.
I mean, at least it shows he wants to win. And you always said that if Trump wanted to win, then it was going to work itself out eventually. Now, people in the chat are saying that if it is in dispute, Nancy would take charge as the Speaker of the House. So can we psychic that? Is Nancy Pelosi going to become the president?
You're going to give me nightmares if we do this. You know that,
we're doing
right?
it. Joshua, you're putting your big boy pants on and you're psychicking the question, okay?
I don't like my big boy pants.
I know you're probably wearing shorts or sweatpants. No, I know you've got a proper top on. Oh, look at you being dressed in proper clothes.
Yeah, look. I'm wearing shorts. What do you think this is? Like, I don't dress for nothing remotely controversial. All right. So this is scary. So, all of us need to get together and we got to hold hands energetically. Everybody in the world.
Everyone needs to send Joshua love and good energy right now, because he's going out on a limb for us.
If she becomes president, I don't know what I'll do. I can't go to England. Like, they won't let me in.
You're never leaving Los Angeles again if she becomes president. They're going to quarantine you in your house and make you wear a mask while you're home alone.
Okay. I'm scared to death of this. All right. Can you imagine? All right. So ask the question. I don't know how you do it without throwing up or getting nauseous.
I'm really nervous right now. You're making me really nervous, dude. Okay, people are saying if she became president, it wouldn't be permanent. It would just be a placeholder while they sort out what's actually going on. So this is not permanent President Nancy. This is a temporary measure that will hopefully lead to us getting Trump. So let's just, let's suck it up.
All right.
Will Nancy Pelosi be president?
And tell me when I should stop shuffling the cards.
Stop.
Queen of Discs, Prudence, the Star. As things look right now, I would say that it looks very possible.
Oh my fucking god! You understand, if this happens, you're going to be dubbed the best psychic in the history of psychics.
I mean, again, just to let everybody know, there's no such thing as psychic prediction, in the sense that people have free will. Like, what could happen on the Supreme Court? What could people vote? Like, that is your innate ability, free will. But the way the energy is looking right now, with Queen of Discs, we need to have, what I'm getting is there's a justice system that needs to be very, very clear and defined, and everybody needs to be secure in terms of what the results are. Number 2, with the prudence card, this is about making sure that T's are crossed and I's are dotted, and they're not going to want to put Biden in there if there's any question whatsoever from, a logical human being. And then with the star card, again, I think that, we're going to be having Saturn and Jupiter in Aquarius on the solstice. It's, the first time in a while that this has happened, and that changes things up. When that transit happens and it starts December 21st, things in this world are never going to be, it's going to be a first for everything. Things are going to be completely wild and different. So hold on.
Joshua, I don't know if I can take this. I really don't. I don't know if I can take it.
Yeah, things
I've
are
already
got crazy. I mean, the thing is that with this Aquarius energy, again, it's like it's new, it's innovative, it's very, very different. Remember, for the past, few years, we've had all those Capricorn placements, and that's about keeping things the same. Capricorn creates order and structure, and it's about maintaining status quo. Aquarius comes along and like flips that crap up and says, new sheriff in town, this is how we're doing things. And it's like, whoa, fool. Like, you never, like, it's like the fool card. Like, you never see this coming. It's like, wow. Unforeseen upsets, unpredictability, surprises, crazy town.
Well, this is how I think they're all feeling right now, spiraling monk at the possibility of Nancy Pelosi taking over the presidency. Well, we still don't have an answer about who actually won the election.
You said, though, you just said this is only a temporary thing. It would only be until like March that we'd have to deal with this.
Okay, can we, okay, guys, I swear we're going to get to your super chats in a second. I just feel like it's really, really important that we go down this path because I want answers, goddammit. I'm not going to survive this.
I want answers.
Can we look
You can't handle the truth.
I don't know that I can handle the truth now after this true God. Okay, so can we look at who will be president in, let's give it a couple extra months padding. Who will be president in June 2021?
As it looks like right now, right?
Yes.
3 of Cups. That's a good sign. Okay. Again, from the top. 5, 6, 7, 8.
Who will be president in June 2021?
Okay. And tell me when I should stop shuffling.
Stop.
Nine of Wands, Knight of Pentacles, the Tower.
Oh, good. You don't know the answer, do you?
I mean,
there is no answer.
It almost looks like being none of the above. Like, are we even going to have a president? Is there going to be a civil war? A lot of people are saying that for December 21st. I mean, so, yeah. As things are looking right now, I don't know who this Knight of Discs guy. I don't know who Knight of Discs is. It's not Trump. It's not Biden. Who is he? Who is he? It's a guy. He's earthy. He's grounded. I mean, it's somebody could be that doesn't have to be an earth sign necessarily, but usually it is. He's stable. This isn't neither Trump nor Biden. It's really interesting.
Yeah. Oh, good. It's basically we're descending into even more chaos in 2021 than we had in 2020 is what I'm hearing from all this.
I mean, with the Tower card again, like, I don't know. So again, the way we could look at this is somebody could be, this is double Mars energy. So I think that, yeah, it's really interesting, but we're upending the old order. And that's really, I think, the theme that I've seen. Like, things are going to be very, very different in 2021.
All right. Well, okay. I got one last question on this, and I'm going to count this as a super chat because Kelly accidentally didn't enter this in the super chat, but I think it's a good time to ask this question. Will it be the House that ultimately decides the election?
Okay. And just phrase that for me again.
Will it be the House that ultimately decides the election?
And tell me when I should stop shuffling on that.
Stop.
Knight of Wands, Queen of Wands, Prince of Wands. You got 3 fire sign people here. I mean, are they in the house?
Well, Nancy's in the house, isn't she?
She's Queen of Wands. Knight of Wands, Queen of Wands, Prince of Wands. I would say these 3 people are deciding the election.
Oh, good. Thank you, Joshua. That just makes me feel so much better about this outcome.
Just find 3 fire signs, just at random. They're going to be deciding. What's before the house?
I mean, the House is the lower chamber, so. What do you mean what's before the House? Like in terms of process,
like before,
the Supreme Court?
Yeah, exactly. Before it went to the House, where would it go?
Probably the Supreme Court, I would think.
Yeah, it's interesting. I would not be surprised if it was the House at this point, but it's very inconclusive. I think it really has to do with well, let's just I think that we should need to ask, what is it that we're not seeing in this whole operation?
I think that's a great question.
And do me a favor, phrase it for me.
What is it that we are not seeing in this whole operation?
And tell me when to stop shuffling on that.
Stop.
No tower. Can't do it. I swear, honest to God, I am many things, but a liar I am not.
No, I believe you.
Knight of Discs again. And then the Emperor. So, yeah.
Well, Trump is the Emperor, I would think.
I mean, any guy who's stable and grounded and authoritative can be the Emperor. So, yeah, but Biden is.
Biden is definitely not the Emperor.
I would say Trump is the Emperor more than, I think Trump is the Emperor, the president of law and order. But the Tower card comes up. So what we're seeing is that things are a little bit just haywire. The thing is that what I'm getting with the Tower card is that something was built in terms of this whole thing, and it's built on false ground, under false pretenses. So there's something with the Tower card here. There's going to be some big surprises that come up, and it's very much about I don't know if I actually do feel that it is on the Democratic side, but it's like almost like faulty wiring, just like faulty soil, faulty wiring. And this Knight of Discs card keeps coming up. So I don't know. It's interesting. There's this like grounded, stable, masculine personage here, and I think that it's interesting. Somebody's pulling strings, and it's not Trump. It's a man. And he's very, very grounded and very, very powerful. Could it be the FBI guy? I don't know who it could possibly be. Attorney General. I don't know. I don't know the players that are involved in this, but definitely keep your eye out for Capricorns, Tauruses, or Virgos. Probably more Capricorn, really.
All right, guys. Well, if you have any guesses about who that, what is it? Knight of what?
Discs.
Discs. That's what I thought. Knight of Discs could be. Just chat them in. Let us know, and we'll see. But let's take a look at some super chats. Noni just says a smiley face. Thank you for that. Brooke says, for Joshua, under a Biden presidency, are conservatives in danger of retaliation from the government? That's a good question, Joshua, because honestly, I was just texting with someone today, and we were talking about how we are under a Biden presidency, we would absolutely see censorship of conservatives go up. The media is going to be emboldened. Big tech companies are going to be emboldened. It's going to be an absolute nightmare. We're not going to know what is up and down and all this stuff. Can we psychic if conservatives will be a target of retaliation under a Biden government?
Sure. Conservative. And tell me when I should stop shuffling on that.
Stop.
Very well. Let's see. Ace of Pentacles, worry, the world. I mean, I don't think that, you know, they'll be particularly supported. But I think with the Ace of Discs, I think it would be very, very hard for them to retaliate in a civil society. I think that with the Five of Discs, there'll be definitely strain, but I wouldn't call this retaliation per se.
Well, that's good news.
Yeah.
Cold Summer asks, earlier in your video, you talked about how there would be a clash between neocons and populists. I think there will also be a similar thing happening between neo-libs and leftists. Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. I don't know that that's a question, Cold Summer, but I definitely agree that we're already seeing, you know, what's so funny, Joshua, I don't think you're going to have any context for this, but I'll say it for the people in the chat because they're going to know. You know, what's funny is that Shoe on Head today tweeted out, and Miles was the one who brought this to my attention. Miles, who I think is here, so thank you for this. She tweeted out like something about, you know, MAGA, if you want to come join us and bully Biden for the next 4 years, you're more than welcome. Shoe on Head is like, you know, she's definitely left, and ever since she started, you know, being Vosh's little girlfriend, she's, you know, gotten as crazy as Vosh. So, I mean, it seems as though the progressives are already turning in on the left, and they're not happy that Biden has appointed so many people that they don't like to his cabinet so far. So we'll see how that goes. Elizabeth Barlow wants to know, will we have 2 presidents? Joshua, can we psychic that?
Sure. How is that possible?
I don't know that, like, I don't know, to be honest.
I don't think, I mean, we can look at it, but it doesn't, I don't see how that could be possible. I mean, have we ever had, but I mean, as I said, I mean, it could be one of those things, but I just, well, I guess.
Oh, hang on. Elizabeth has provided clarification. Thank you, Elizabeth. Scott Adams thinks we're going to have 2 presidents with Trump in control.
Okay. Fascinating. All right. Well, I'll look at it. I mean, anything's up for grabs, right? I mean, God only knows what's about to happen this year.
Exactly.
Will we have 2 presidents with, will we have 2 presidents, right?
Yes.
And tell me when I should stop shuffling on that.
Stop.
Very well. Happiness, Princess of Swords, Valor. I think that if the people want it, it's just going to be very, very interesting. Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of information about how things are played out. I don't think it's off the table. I don't know if it's I don't know if it's off the table. With the Happiness card, Princess of Swords, I think a lot of it's going to have to do with what people want. Like, I think there's going to be some other kind of like voting or information taking in terms of what America is going to want. It's going to be some other kind of like voting of some sort, which is interesting. Well,
Elizabeth says in the chat, she's like, that's not a no.
No, Elizabeth, it's not. I had to be like in my head, like, don't think about it logically. Don't think about it logically. You know what I mean? In order to like pull cards realistically. Things are going to be very different, and they're never going to be like they're going to be like they've never been ever before, is my overall feeling on what's going, as way things are flowing right now. That, have we looked and saw like what you know, Nancy Pelosi's disposition is, how Trump has been looking lately? Have they been keeping things on the down low? Because if you see them on these like news channels, you will probably be able to notice whether or not something is off or something is wrong, or if they're crapping their pants.
Okay. Well, we'll have to keep an eye out on that.
I mean, I don't think you have to be psychic to like look and see a news report and be like, oh, Nancy's even more crazy than she usually is. You know what I mean? Like,
well, it might be a little hard though, because I mean, excuse me, at least I think like everyone is acting crazy right now. Everyone is acting insane right now.
Has Trump been on the DL, or has he done any public appearances recently?
No, he's done some stuff. He pirated a turkey today. I was actually really upset because what they did, Joshua, is they had you vote on Twitter. They gave you 2 bios of 2 different turkeys. One was named Corn, and the other was named Cobb. And they gave you a bio of Corn and a bio of Cobb, and then they had people on Twitter vote for which turkey they wanted to be parted. Okay. And I was like, that's a horrible activity. You're making me choose between 2 turkeys. And then I saw the video today of Trump pardoning the turkey, and he looked fine. And they pardoned Corn, and I was like, "What the hell happened to Cobb?"
Well, I hope they didn't kill him on like the Discovery Channel or anything, No.
Apparently, they were both taken to a farm on Iowa State University or some such nonsense. So Cobb is still alive and well, but I was like, that is a dirty trick.
It is. He should have, what he should have done. He should have pardoned both of them.
I think they pardoned Corn in the official ceremony. Maybe Corn was more photogenic or something of the 2 turkeys, but Cobb apparently has gotten a pardon as well, which I know that we were all very anxious about Cobb's ultimate fate. All right, well, let's move on to a different question that has nothing to do with upheaval in the federal government and a possible civil war. Heather wants to know, and I actually like this question. Will Michigan's governor, Gretchen Whitmer, be impeached? Because impeachment proceedings have been brought against the governor of Michigan.
This is the one that got kidnapped.
What's that?
This is the one who was about to get kidnapped?
Well, yes, but she's also a crazy person that is just as crazy as your governor in California, and the citizens don't really like her anymore, and they want to impeach her. So will this impeachment be successful, Joshua?
Will Gretchen, will you just say her name? Will she be impeached?
Will Gretchen Whitmer be impeached?
Say your name one more time.
Gretchen Whitmer.
And tell me when to stop shuffling on that.
Stop.
Will she be impeached? The devil, virtue, the wheel. No, I think that I know that she's like, her back is against the wall right now. But she has some safeties like ahead of her, if that makes any sense. Like she has protection around her from, people, but she's feeling the heat. That makes you feel any better. Yeah. She's definitely, it's interesting. She's done certain things that it would seem with the devil card. She's definitely has been tempted to use her power in a less than honorable way.
Oh, I would say that she's been more than tempted to use her power in a less than honorable way. And I think that that's been proven over and over again, including that she's responsible for at least 2,000 deaths in her own state by housing sick COVID patients in nursing homes, against the advice of her nursing association. So yeah, well, we'll see what happens there. George, go ahead.
I mean, I feel that like when they make a decision like this, they have like, oh, well, Dr. Fauci said this. Like they have like levels of like people to blame before it actually gets to them. Do you know what I mean? So I think that, I mean, they may have called the orders, but they don't get their hands dirty, I think, in a lot of respects. But yeah, she's feeling the heat. Definitely.
Good. George says, I don't care if what people think about Joshua's cooking tips. He's still the most accurate psychic of 2020. Congratulations on the pinpoint prediction. Well, Joshua is either going to be the best psychic ever for his Nancy Pelosi prediction, or he's going to hang his head in shame on January 21st. When
are you kidding me? I would much rather be wrong than right about this. And again, it's just the way things are looking right now. That is what I say. And trust me, I would much rather be like Mia Coppola, I was wrong, than seeing her getting inaugurated on. Yeah.
For real.
Yeah.
Ember Raven, I want to just Ember Raven, I want to acknowledge your super chat, but I don't want to read it because I fear that my channel would get penalized if I did. And you know why? You know why. Adrian Shepard says if Trump isn't reelected, will hang on. Will he start his own party?
Okay, let's see. And tell me when I should stop shuffling on that.
Stop.
Very well, let's see. Isn't reelected, will he start his own party? Prince of Wands, Ace of Pentacles, Happiness. I don't think it's out of the question. I think if he's inspired to do it, I'm very surprised. Again, this is like one of those questions I'm like, huh? But what do I know? But with Prince of Wands, he might be inspired to. And with Ace of Pentacles, it seems like it's plausible. I mean, how can you start your own party? Can you? Can you just do that?
Why not? Why not? Yeah.
Happiness. I mean, he's going places, and I think he's creating. Yeah, he's definitely going for the long haul, which I really, yeah, I think he'll be pleased with what he winds up doing. If he's inspired to, yes, I think that he will.
Well, I would join Trump's political party in a second because I'll tell you what. After the last day I've about had it with the Republicans, man. Like honestly, like the reason I would join the Republican Party is because I think it can be reformed into a populist party and have what happened under Trump solidified. But you know, I also have a lot of trepidation about that happening, and I think it very easily could go back to the old school Republicans that I hated growing up, and I'm not going to be a part of that. So if Trump formed his own political party, I'd join it in a second. So Sean wants to know, and Joshua, I think this question comes from the fact that some people think that you mark your cards and are cheating in these readings, which is why you keep pulling the Tower card and the Five of Swords.
I care that much.
Well, I mean, I know, and this is what I try to explain. It's like, I know you're not doing that, but Sean asks, Joshua, are your cards bent, or is it just the way the light is hitting them?
Well, these are well-worn cards. Yeah, some of them are bent, but again, it's I mean, when you use cards as often as I do, they're going to get bent because you know what I do between every single subject or reading, I bridge the deck, right? So of course that's going to make them, but I shuffle them, I clear them. So yeah, the cards are fine. If anything, like I had said before, when we were talking about like the election results, if anything, you know, the interpreter can, you know, see something and not interpret the right way, especially if they're, you know, biased or they're wanting to see something, you know, but since this is new for me in terms of politics, I've been like, you know, detached, think of ice sculptures, think of like things that, you know, I don't care. I'm singing that song by Ed, what's his name? Sheeran. Yeah. I don't care, because that will help me do a better reading. Usually I don't care, but like when you talk about Nancy, it's like,
yeah. All right, guys, we have time for a couple more super chats. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get to all of them, but Joshua, can you stay like a couple extra minutes tonight?
Yes, I can.
Okay, Joshua's going to be extra generous so we can get to as many super chats as possible. Cold Summer says, okay, I just want to point out that if Nancy gets in, the media will have explaining to do after declaring Biden the winner. Yes, I believe that is very, very true. Marshall wants to know, will the inauguration take place? But I think we've already pretty much done that. We're not really sure at this point. But we'll keep checking in on that. Anthony wants to know, Joshua, can I have a private reading from you? Yes, you can. Joshua's information, guys, if you want to ask Joshua all those private burning questions, Joshua's information is in the description below. You can go to psychicsun.com. That's sun, S-U-N, not S-O-N, like the sun, and schedule some time with Joshua. Mandatory Carrie says, hashtag keep fighting. Nephi says, will this mess lead to serious election reform? I think that's a good question.
That's a very good question. And tell me when I should stop shuffling.
Stop.
Form. The Empress. Art. 5 of Swords. Yes.
Yay!
Yeah. So the Empress and the art card, there's going to be something new, but again, I think that it's going to be some fine tuning because again, people are going to want to, especially when they're in the process of reinventing something. So I think there's something really, really good. But when it gets down to determining how things are done, you got to watch people. You got to watch people. It's like it starts off with this, like, let's do this. We're going to do something brand new. But in the back of their head, like, but how can I cheat? Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's very, very interesting. Yeah, I think there will be an election reform, but both sides have to be vigilant in making sure that nobody is doing something that is underhanded.
Well, that's good. Helena says that you should also subscribe to Joshua's YouTube channel, which I agree. Corey wants to know, is Obama the puppet master?
Will you explain, is the puppet master the puppet or is it the one who's pulling the strings? The master
that's pulling the strings. The guy that's like doo-doo-doo.
Well, if he's the puppet master, who's Michelle? God? In this whole thing, is Barack Obama the puppet master? You got to be kidding. That's the question? All right. Yeah. Again, I don't know anything. I honestly don't. I don't know what I'm talking about. It's just my impression. Like, I don't think that he's a Leo. Leos are lazy. Like, they'll do the least amount of work possible. I love them. Don't get me wrong, but they're not like exceedingly ambitious. Michelle, however, is a Capricorn, and they are. But okay, let's just see. He has other stuff in his chart, Aquarius, which makes him even less likely to care that much. But let's just see. The puppet master in this whole circus, is that the question?
Yes.
Is Barack the puppet master? And tell me when to stop shuffling.
Stop.
Let's see.
I just really enjoy how you just got so incredulous.
Yeah. I mean, my cards are backing me up. I think with the Hermit card, again, this reminds me of when he said, like, he's doing like one of his last speeches, like Obama out. You know what I mean? He's like, he's focusing on, quietude. And I think with Queen of Discs, she's all about like status quo, keeping things stabilized. This is Queen of Discs, though. That is Capricorn with Princess of Cups. So I don't think that they're doing much with Princess of Cups. There's a level of detachment. So I don't think so. No.
Okay.
I think that they're focusing on, speeches, books. They're smart. Like your time is over. There's so much they can do right now.
I guess. Yvonne wants to know, will General Flynn be able to spotlight the corruption from Biden, Clinton, and Obama?
I'm sorry?
Will General Flynn be able to spotlight the corruption from Biden, Clinton, and Obama?
Will he be able to notice the corruption?
Well, spotlight. Right? Will he be able to put a spotlight on the corruption?
Well, okay. And the spotlight would be on whom?
The corruption from Biden, Clinton, and Obama.
Okay. Biden, Clinton. And tell me when I should stop shuffling on that.
Stop.
Ace of Pentacles, 3 of Discs, victory. Yes, I do think so. He definitely has with Ace of Discs. He's doing his due diligence, and I think with three of Discs, he has a team that's really working, very hard. And I think that they've made some big progress. It's almost like the structure of the house is there, but we don't have like the curtains or the carpeting. Do you know what I mean? We have something, but victory is coming. This could be the Tower card that we were talking about earlier.
Well, you know who General Flynn's lawyer is?
No, I don't.
Sidney Powell.
Oh, I see.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. Oh, boy. I think that we may have cracked the case tonight.
Oh
Teamwork,
yeah.
dream work. Well, I mean, these cards are definitely denoting victory for Flynn, and we saw the Tower card being like, us realizing like in our face something has been rotting in Denmark. So very fascinating, honestly.
Oh
Serious.
my god. Oh my god.
Don't make me late for dinner. I'll get in big trouble if I'm late for dinner. I have time for one more.
Okay,
One
well, we have okay, we have one more question. I just want to acknowledge the super chats from Cindy and Cats Turbo because we won't be able to get to them tonight. I'm sorry, guys. Joshua makes the rules.
But we dinner reservations. Why do you
okay,
think it's so
Joshua. Amy wants to know, is Sean Parnell going to be successful in Pennsylvania? His lawsuit is about how Act 77 is unconstitutional and thus all 2 million mail-in ballots were cast illegally.
I'm sorry. You gotta go a little slow. I'm not as smart as you. You know this.
Okay. So Sean Parnell is apparently has filed a lawsuit in the state of Pennsylvania, and I don't know that much about this either, to be honest. But his lawsuit is about how Act 77 is unconstitutional and would mean that all 2 million mail-in ballots in Pennsylvania were cast illegally. Which, if he is successful, would and those ballots were thrown out, would lead to Trump, I would think, winning the state of Pennsylvania.
Okay, so the question would be: Is
Sean Parnell going to be successful with this lawsuit?
With the lawsuit pertaining to Pennsylvania, yes?
Yes.
And say his name again?
Sean Parnell? Or
is it S-E-A-N? Do you know offhand? Or S-A-N?
It is S-E-A-N.
Okay. And tell me when to stop shuffling on him.
Stop.
I mean, I think he's chasing mosquitoes right now. I think with the seven of cups, things are a little bit in the air. There is luxury, but the thing with the luxury card, it's almost like, and so, do you know what I mean? With Queen of Cups, I think there'll be empathy for his position, but I don't get there being like this grandstanding victory. We gotcha. We figured it out. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But there will be understanding, and I think that these are all water cards. I mean, water is emotion. I don't have anything to sink my teeth into, like I'm gonna tonight at dinner.
Okay, well, we're gonna get you out to your dinner. Relax. My God, I thought you weren't even allowed to have dinner out in your city.
Oh no, you can have outside dining. You can't have inside dining, but you can have outside dining, thankfully, or else we starve to death. Really.
Well, fine. Well, we were going to talk about gratitude for Thanksgiving, but I guess we don't have time for it. Joshua, do you have any quick words?
Gratitude is very important. No.
Okay, so we're going to take some time for gratitude. Okay.
Yeah, we have to. Okay, so gratitude is super important because Matthew said in the Bible, I'm quoting the Bible as a psychic astrologer, but Matthew in the Bible said, he who hath shall be given more, and he hath not shall not have.
You just pissed off like every Christian in the chat right now with your quoting of the Bible.
What God was talking about in that passage was that when you recognize the abundance that you have around you, you get more abundance. And when you don't recognize the abundance that you have around you, or you don't think you have abundance, whatever you have is going to be taken away. It's almost analogous to the richer get richer and the poorer get poorer, because it's about perspective. It's about perception. If I feel like I'm abundant and I'm seeing the abundance, I'm going to create more and more abundance. So it's very important during this time to be very, very grateful. Yeah.
Yes. Be grateful for everything, the good things and the bad things and the things that drive you crazy, like this goddamn election cycle.
Yeah, because you'll there's so much stuff that we can be grateful for, even, oxygen, the blood running through our veins, pets and trees, and nothing remotely controversial, and so many things. Yeah.
All right, Joshua. Well, I am grateful that you choose to do this show with me. every Tuesday
I'm
night.
grateful that you have me on this show. This is your channel. So I very much appreciate you for having me on the show every week. I think we have a lot of fun, and I think other people do too. I hope.
I think so. People talk about it as like their favorite show of the week, so we're gonna go with that. All right, guys, that's all we got for tonight. Because as someone said in the chat, Joshua weighs like 80 pounds and needs to go eat some food so he can fatten up like the rest of us that don't run every day out in Los Angeles. But thank you for hanging out with us for Nothing Remotely Controversial. If you enjoyed our show tonight, please make sure you hit that like button so that YouTube knows that we do some things right, even though they don't really generally like us for it. That's all right. So hit that like button for us, guys. It really does help me out. Subscribe to the channel if you are not already. I hope you all have a great Thanksgiving and eat lots of awesome food. And I will be posting pictures of my turkey that I will be very, very proud of, unless I burn the house down in the making of it, which is not going to happen. But guys, have a great Thanksgiving. We will be back here next Tuesday night at 9:30, and we will be taking your questions then. All right. Have a good night, guys. Bye.